You get sucked in a time warp and end up in March 2020, as COVID is hitting. What are you doing this time? Call my mom daily. She passed away in December of 2020 and I wish I had talked to her more that year. We moved her into a memory care facility at the beginning of 2020 and my life got very busy between being a PhD student, managing finances, her health, divorce proceedings etc. for her as her guardian, and I didn't see her very often. I wish I had called more. I was busy and overwhelmed and I was scared. She had early onset dementia and Alzheimer's, and as the disease progressed she became a little different when I saw her. I miss her and wish I had called more. Insist on being in the first cohort to go into COVID floors of hospitals. I was asked and my manager said no, as they had enough volunteers. They sent me in a few months later instead. First set of people that went got an extra $10 an hour for the whole time they were there. I didn't get any pay increase for doing the same job for 3 months, working alongside people from the first group. This was before the vaccines and when we still didn't know if it was airborne. I got screwed royally. This was 4 months before my divorce officially kicked off. I would have left and filed while out of state and my household actually received the money from the house so I could support myself and child while I finished school. It ended with me losing everything, my ex getting everything he needed and me finally, after 3 years of mental, emotional and financial exhaustion, giving custody to my ex's parents because I had no other choice. Invest in GameStop, use the money to buy a house after GameStop stock skyrockets, and pay off my girlfriend's student loans, then break up with her. We weren't working, and it took me 2 more years to finally realize that. Maybe try and warn people of upcoming atrocities, but nobody is gonna take the predictions of some random young dude who has no expertise in politics or international relations besides reading the news too much. My child was born so nothing really except refusing to return to office that night. I had to give up my paternity leave else I'd lose my job, to help set up remote work for people whose lives, families, and needs matter, which is a group I am not a part of. Then to also meet face to face with staff and students, to get them set up on laptops. Oh, I also had to make home visits, because fuck my preemie newborn. March 2020. We have to shut down for 2 weeks. It won't be a problem, and I will pay your wages for those 2 weeks in full. Trying to be a good boss and then putting them on UE when it became 2 months and back to wages when PPP arrived. Staff who end up with a 2-month PD vacation. I made more non-working, than working due to enhanced unemployment. July 2020. Staff, I need a raise or I quitting my job. I worked in person and childcare the entire time. Worked 10-hour days when we had no staff. I was in a 1:18 teacher-student ratio helping virtual learning students, so me, helping 18 elementary students from different schools in a room, with their laptops, deal with virtual learning. At the end of it all, I was unappreciated. I wish I had left sooner, and spent that time with my family. Destroy my in-laws' TV, radio, etc. so that they can't listen to conservative conspiracy theories about COVID, ultimately leading to my father-in-law's death 2 months after his daughter and I got engaged. She walked herself down the aisle, and her mother has never apologized even once for not only being wrong, but knowing she was exposed to COVID at work and did nothing but wait for the inevitable. Many people write here that they would invest in certain projects because they know that their shares will rise in the future. To these people, I will say the following. Calm down. If you are poor today, then insider information will make you rich for a short period of time. If you can't do it with your own head, no jackpot will help you, it will only make you feel like you are worth something. I wouldn't have moved back home. I was living with my friends, and I didn't know at the time that unemployment would have taken care of rent no problem. I could have actually not worked like everyone else and just had a year off. I know it sounds like I'm freeloading, but I missed out on a lot working for basically nothing and making unemployment. Other than that, I'd invest in Nvidia, buying a shit ton of Bitcoin and setting my sell limit orders to $61,000. Hilariously, I was actually looking at moving a massive chunk of my portfolio into BTC at the time, but COVID hit and my portfolio went down. I figured it'll recover, no need to sell at a loss, and BTC hasn't really moved for a while, likely will stay this way. I'll wait the downturn out. FML, was I wrong? Lol. Most people will say buy this, invest into that. I'm just going to say use the opportunity that the world stopped to regroup myself and get started at life. Learn something, find out how people earn money, figure out how the world works. I took that time as cool, massive spring break and spent 6 months smoking a lot of weed and just chilling with my friends. I was 22. I was in rehab, in Florida. So there's very little I could have done differently. Some personal choices probably, but at that point I was locked in a little bubble, so most things would probably stay the same. I would have more existential fear and anxiety, know how things would turn out with COVID and politically and so on. It would be a nightmare. 1. Leave the cheating bitch I was with ASAP. 2. Don't date the next one immediately after her. 3. Cut that friend off, he ain't doing you any good. 4. Keep working, stack money. 5. 6. Profit. I probably wouldn't have the job I do now if I did all of this. But there's a solid chance I'd be in just as good, if not better position. Leveraged myself to the teeth and purchased real estate. Yes, I could have made more with derivatives and hot stocks, but real property would have tangible and immediate benefits with quick resale and massive gains. I would have been satisfied with that. Also, I would have purchased more toilet paper. I honestly don't think I have another new pandemic experience in me. Having been in NYC through the worst of it, I cannot imagine something worse. I'd probably pull a Dick Pernicki re Christopher McCandless and give it a go in the woods with the few survival skills I have until I ultimately died, killing myself because I'm not living through 2020 and 2021 again. I barely survived the first time. If that's not on the table, maybe try to start a friendship 3 years earlier than I did. We've known of each other for years but only became friends this past summer. She's a great friend. Getting the haircut I've been putting off leading up to the lockdowns, and grabbing some extra ground beef. I didn't have too much trouble sourcing anything during the pandemic, but there were a few weeks where the trucks weren't moving and meat was in short order at the store. Ending my relationship before he gets the chance to escalate the abuse he will inflict on me once I need to isolate from the world due to my autoimmune disorder. I finally managed to get away from him earlier this year. Luckily, physically unharmed. Mentally not so much. Use the money my ex-wife and I were saving for emergencies to pay off my debt. So when she tells me on Mother's Day that she had been cheating on me for months, I'm prepared to be on my own without the monetary hole I have been in the last almost 4 years since. If I still get to retain the knowledge that I have now. Putting money in GME and the meme coins that took off. Not drinking as much as I did. Doing more things outdoors with my family, and try to just be a kinder person. Set better work-life boundaries. Not trying to carry a glass table by myself upstairs. That shit nearly killed me. Saving my UE and investing instead of all the stupid shit I bought. Putting the money I had to good use, like paying my student loans and putting a down payment on a house. Putting all money in GameStop. And not driving April 16th so some asshat doesn't total my car right after losing my job and forcing me to drain my savings and live off credit cards. Snowballing to now looking down the barrel of a possible bankruptcy. Going to stop drinking sooner, obviously already stopped, so basically just continue the routine. Drop marijuana. Focus on my schooling and maybe this time, get the other house on the street that already has a concreted garage. I was walking a ton at that point, 5-8 miles a day. Really happy, reading a book a week. Did that for a few months until things slowly opened again, and then that positive behavior went out the window. I'd have kept doing that. I would have gone about my normal life and risked getting COVID. I had to deal with someone who gave me COVID and I survived luckily. It is a risk you have to take. Plus I had to deal with some anti-vaxxers, which did not help. Staying in Joshua Tree, camping with my friends. We went out there the week before lockdown and emerged into a world we didn't recognize. It didn't get any better. Just stay in the desert and wait for the world to return. I'd do pretty much everything the same. One thing I'd change is maybe taking a day off from work a couple years later to dodge COVID. Met my wife because of everything that happened, so I wouldn't want to change a thing. Still not wearing a mask. Still not getting jabbed, still not ratting on my neighbors for having their kids over, still not listening to the police about when and where I can go. So same as last time round. March is too late to do anything significant. Earlier I'd buy a house with a pool, etc. March. All there is to do is buy tons of toilet paper before the great toilet paper panic and stock up on video games. Take every dollar I get from Papa Trudeau and instead of buying booze because this is just the latest media scare that will blow over in 3 months, I'm going to use it to buy as much of Pfizer as I can. I invest in arms companies, and pharma industries and whoever makes the drones that Ukraine's currently used to kill some motherlanders. I mean first COVID, then Ukraine and Israel. Money 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 he. Realizing you're very late. We knew about COVID in December 2019. We could have done a lot more back then. We knew it was here, we knew it would be a pandemic. We could have tried to slow things down, telling my buddy Peter that when your wife gets sick, get a hotel room. Or since you're retired, come up and live with us for a while. This is no joke. It's not a really bad cold. Damn, I miss you, Pete. Move to cheap housing in the middle of nowhere with fiber internet connectivity. Stop paying high rent on my apartment in the city. Buy toilet paper, graphics cards, and computer parts. Buy stocks. Held an extended family seminar about how to read and interpret scientific publications. I'm a scientist in infectious disease research and it would have saved all of us a lot of time and heartache. Stay in New Orleans. Run that house I stayed at in 2014 that I found was for rent in March 2020. Work from home, 2,000 miles away from home. Go bankrupt paying the rent. Probably die of the COVID. I'd work my ass off and put it all in Dogecoin and become a millionaire. I put in a couple bucks when it was valued below a penny each. At its peak in 2021 each Dogecoin was worth like 60 cents. Besides investing money in a few choice stocks, I'm doing what my friend did. Leave a cold weather country with tons of COVID restrictions for a warm weather country with far fewer restrictions. I would not crash my mom's 4Runner while on spring break with my buddies, no influence involved, just shit luck. We missed the final NBA game played before lockdown because of that accident. Put all my money in pharmaceutical stocks as well as bitcoins. The massive profit I earned in the first year will all go to the GameStop stock. A year later I'm retired and set for life.